Nothing can keep standing once he starts demanding. Hey, get out of my way, you the bulldozer. Hero of the job site, terror of the dirt. He'll set it all right to say dirt don't hurt. Oh yeah, all right then. Oh, on and on and on. Oh, on and on and on. Nothing can keep standing. Once he starts demanding, hey, you gotta get it moving. He's the bulldozer, the construction hero, the terror of the dirt. He's setting it all right to say dirt don't hurt. Oh yeah, all right then. Oh yeah. Mana nana nana. Mana nana nana. He's the bulldozer. Oh, crash. Oh yeah. So that one, that's the song I had in my head. It was just for entertainment. This video is just for entertainment. It's all over the place. There was not a, well, there are things, there are subjects, but anyways, we'll get to those subjects. They are gaming related and way. I will let you hear that actual song a little bit, but that was a song that I was stuck in my head again. Anyways, let's go.
Wow, old Mo. I'm totally thrilled and honored that you decided to do something like that. But it seems like you also can't sing just like me, so no matter how many robots are involved, we can't seem to solve that problem. That being said, that actual song is from QuickLazer Project. There are links in the description. Please check it out when you can. Anyways, moving on. So because my audio is all over the place, I'm still going to call on the old mulligan in a minute. But I just wanted to mention that is a tandem project to this. And check it out if you get time. Most of these songs are already distributed through YouTube Music, stuff like that. But some of this stuff can only be heard off the Bandcamp, so just go to the link if you can. Otherwise, that's all good. Anyways, thank you.
Okay, so hopefully this will be recording properly again. One day we'll figure all this out and we won't have to think too much about that part of it. Anyway, so here's the thing. Today was Tuesday, and on Tuesdays there's a thing that happens. It takes up a large part of the day called maintenance, turbo maintenance on the main World of Warcraft servers, which has been happening for a very long time now. This is a common occurrence. It is something that's known about. In fact, there are people that I know A guy that I used to know online, I never actually hung out with him in real life, but he was a gaming friend of mine. He told me that he makes sure that he always worked on Tuesday because taking Tuesday off isn't even worth it because the game can be done for half a day. Anyway, so what you're probably looking at now is probably not World of Warcraft. In fact, it's an alternative MMO that I used to play. It is kind of known by a lot of people as like the scuffed off version of Warcraft. This game is Allods Online. I mean, it is actually a decent game in its own right. I don't really know what happened with it. I think if it continues support, it'd probably be doing okay because it actually has a lot more merit than people give it credit for. It's obviously very similar to Warcraft, at least some stage of Warcraft like took a lot of heavy influence from World of Warcraft Classic, I guess. But you'll see there's some obvious differences, you know, if you look at a little bit. It's one of the MMOs you can play free through Steam. I think it's owned now by my.com. I'm pretty sure that's who it is. So who knows if they're going to do anything with it. A game like this could probably be revived if it had some kind of more energy put into it again, because what it is in general and all the work that was put in, it seems like pretty good. I played it off and on a few times. It doesn't require a subscription to play a large part of it, so it's actually fun to jump into, mess with from time to time. Of course, there's a lot of paid options stuff in this game, which I've never really explored too much. I actually need to do an entire discussion about that soon, because there are games that I love that I actually wanted to buy stuff in that I never bought stuff in because I was too confused actually how to buy it. And I don't think these game companies realize that a lot of people don't buy stuff from them because I can't figure out what's happening. My favorite example in that is Guild Wars Reforged. I really like that game, but I've played it a lot, but I'm still at a mid-tier level. I haven't bought anything. I wanted to find a way to buy some stuff, but every time I went to do it, I was so confused. There's multiple currencies that I think there's 5 or 6 currencies in that game. So this game kind of suffers from that a bit. It was an interesting alternative, but let's go on to another discussion of what's actually going on with other good games out there. So I never keep up my WoW subscription super consistently, which is part of the reason why I just play casually, but I do play all kinds of stuff. Old Mole has a long gaming experience. Even though I'm a casual player, I do get around. And I do play stuff aside from those. And those just happen to be personal favorites of mine. But let's see. So one of my other favorite franchises, the Guild Wars 2, the ArenaNet projects. They just announced Guild Wars Reforged, which is going to be cool. It's going to be the first game with some updates. I think people are overblowing it, thinking it's going to be an analog or something like last time it was. It's really not. I think it's just going to be a minor updating of some basic quality of life and maybe some interface stuff. But what's encouraging about that is that you'll end up with, hopefully, and actually I've seen evidence of this. I don't know if I caught it on the footage for this video or not, but actually great evidence of going in and making a new character. There are people flooding back into this game like you would not believe. And that leads me to something I want to talk about, which is that ArenaNet has done something the opposite of Blizzard in some ways, and I think both approaches have merit, but I do want to talk about this for a few minutes here. So, basically, something I really treasure and like about ArenaNet, why I'm glad they're doing Reforged to Guild Wars, is because I got reset. My entire Guild Wars experience got reset anyway. So I kind of had to start over from the beginning because of a kerfuffle with my account stuff during some kind of migration thing that went on. Well, I played Guild Wars 2, and the same thing happened with my Guild Wars 2 account. I actually still have both accounts, I realized. But since I prefer to play through Steam, I may just build up those accounts instead at this point. I don't know. It's a little confusing. I'm going to try to figure that out. But when you think about it, the reason I have to play and can only invest so much in Blizzard stuff is just sheerly because of the cost to be involved with it. I mean, just point blank, I got to be honest with you. I love Blizzard. I like a lot of their products. I find them highly entertaining. It's one of my favorite entertainment companies that there is. But I don't full-time play my Blizzard catalog because of the cost involved in my financial situation. So I will go and enjoy it when I can. And I think that's also part of why it stays fresh to me too, is because I don't get burnt out for this reason either. But, you know, Blizzard to me is a lot more like something like Apple, where they have a lot of very nice types of products and they put a lot of energy into it. But you do need to keep up and like pay to be a part of the ecosystem, you know. It's a little harder to keep up with and deal with staying plugged into. I do love it. I think it's great. I just can't stay plugged into it full time. Well, that's kind of why the opposite approach of something like ArenaNet with the Guild Wars is so relieving, is because they kind of have an approach that I wish would apply to more stuff in the real world too. Like, for example, when something is working really well, get it to a real state and just let it be. Just let it run for like a long time because it's working. And then when you do update it, do it in a way that keeps that intact, but like carries stuff forward. ArenaNet seems to have that idea very well down. Do you think Blizzard, through all those changes, they have like indicated they're moving back towards that type of direction, which is the way they were kind of rooted in the beginning as well. They've just been through a lot. I mean, they've been bought and sold multiple times, things like that. So who knows? But I do think the new WoW stuff's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But when I'm not playing that, or when it's maintenance time, then I can't log into my favorite Azeroth characters. You know, it's nice to know that I've got reasons to fresh start on these other games anyway. And Guild Wars, the best thing about it, that pilot play model is amazing because I have spent a lot of time in some of these games. Now, actually, I'm restarting in a lot of respects with it. But on my old accounts, I spent a lot of time in the game and only bought once. And in fact, even buying again, even with all that combined, it's less than a few months of me playing WoW. So you know, you play WoW for half a year, well, you could own a chunk of Guild Wars and not have to pay for it again for a while. So there's a lot of advantages with that, having that on standby when you're not engaged in a subscription-based entertainment. You know, as a gamer, that's pretty nice to have that as a fallback. And I do believe that was the direction Amazon was trying to emulate with New World, and they said themselves they wanted to compete with Steam. Well, when Steam cooperated with ArenaNet and NCSoft and decided to put Guild Wars on the Steam, you know, now there's wide access to a quality buy-to-play MMO that has deep roots. So I just don't think, I think that New World is fantastic. I'm actually sad New World's gone. I feel like something should be done to salvage that. Hopefully somebody will find a way to private server that thing or do something cool. Maybe they'll make it possible to keep it alive in some version of itself or something, but Amazon Games seems to be imploding. Something like that seems to be going on. They seem to be giving up on the race. I think they realize they can't compete with Steam and Microsoft. Steam, Microsoft, and Sony, you know? So there's multiple things to talk about with these different games. But one reason why my initial Guild Wars account, I never got to in-game in, which is why I'm kind of interested in messing with it again, is because there's one thing about it that drives me crazy. Now, I think I can look past it now, but You cannot jump in Guild Wars, the original. You can't jump. Not being able to jump with my character drives me bonkers. Now, it's true that I don't jump a lot in real life. I have to grant that. I do jump from time to time, but not very often. But in the game world, being able to jump is important. Something else I want to talk about that Blizzard excels at compared to most other game makers. And this is a very hard to describe subject, but Blizzard does a great job of fluid gameplay. They do such a good job with matching the fluidity of input with their animation, as well as their timing and their soundscape. Their sound design and timing is fantastic. And what I mean by that, when you play most Blizzard games, now this isn't true in all cases. I have been through some experiences with some of their things that don't meet this type of standard, but in most cases, one of the reasons people get addicted to Blizzard games is because when you fight mobs in Blizzard games, it feels satisfying for some kind of reason. You've got some kind of feeling of impact, even with the warrior. I mean, if you go all the way back to Classic, you saw it with very simple animations and slow attack speed and everything, but it's still satisfying because the sound design and the way damage connect with the sound, even when there's a lag or something's funky, it's still satisfying. It feels like you're chunkily fighting through these monsters. Whereas one problem Allods has is that it only feels that way part of the time. A lot of the combat animations, like, they feel too soft, like it's not impactful enough, doesn't feel like you're really beating through something or like even pretend beating through something. Blizzard does a great job of fluffing it to where it feels like fantastical to be beating around on stuff, especially as a warrior. You know, going on clang, clang, you hear the metal clanging and the beating as you're fighting through stuff. Well, the same thing is true in Diablo. Same thing is true. And even Heroes of the Storm has a good type of feeling when you fight through certain engagements because of the thing I'm describing. Guild Wars is somewhere in the middle of these three examples. If I was going to talk about satisfaction, like overall combat satisfaction, whatever, because it's a different style, Guild Wars 1 I feel like is more similar to WoW, but still different. Guild Wars 2 is very different. It's more like this. It's like a flowing action style, which is also quite good. But, I mean, this is very different. I don't think comparing them even works super well, to be quite honest with you. But one of the reasons other TAD target MMOs can't compete with WoW is for this thing I'm trying to tell you. I mean, I love Secret World. There's a lot of good stuff about that game too. There's a lot of great MMOs out there. But you know, there's something about there. That's right. Dang it. So anyways, all the time what ends up happening is something works really good, it's going well. And then companies start feeling like they gotta innovate and iterate too much, and it becomes an absolute wreck. And this is something that I think grabbed the psyche of a lot of American companies over the last, I don't know, decade or two, maybe, I don't know. But look, man, if something's really good and people like it, it needs to become a staple and like allowed to like marinate on what's good, kind of like a good, rack of ribs or something. I think ArenaNet does well with that. Certain things that work well shouldn't be changed. I had accounting software I really liked. They kept updating the interface and I'm still confused. It takes me extra long time now to do the financial work for my company because of all the updates they've done. I wish they had just left it the way it was because it worked fine. This is a good example of what I'm trying to talk about. So you've got all these trade-offs with different approaches to things. I think both these companies are great. I don't think that Guild Wars gets as much credit as it should. I understand why Blizzard is so big. And they should get credit where credit's due. They do a fantastic job of being very entertaining for a gaming company. They do a great job with that. But ArenaNet also does a fantastic job. And I think it's smart for them to do Reforged, even though people probably have too big of a think of it, like thinking it's going to be an amazing whole thing. No, but I think once they do this and they see, I think it's to test the waters and see, if they do get more player interaction, maybe one day they can modify Guild Wars to where I could jump. I'm just being silly. But maybe they could modify it to where it continues to get more updates. Something like this could trigger them wanting to put more resource towards that. They're saying it's going to get some other types of updates. We don't know what, but, if there's a positive response to them showing that they aren't going to just let it stay super dead and throw it a bone like something like Reforged then, and if people start playing it, then you might just end up with, a revived game that could go on and be its Guild Wars version of what people are dreaming for Classic Plus with World of Warcraft. So a lot of people are optimistic about that. I think Arena's doing a smart thing. I think it's very wise for them to reveal that Guild Wars is still alive as a buy-to-play RPG, multiplayer RPG type option, right after Amazon announced that New World is going away, which was one of the other only mainstay buy-to-play experiences out there that has any kind of quality to it, So, good on you, Arena. Good on you guys for giving alternatives for when World of Warcraft is on maintenance mode. And also, Blizzard, keep up the good work, man. If you guys keep going in a good direction, whenever I can afford it, I come play with you because I like it. They got good stuff. It's a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun time with it when available. Of course, one thing I find relaxing about the ArenaNet approach is because, like I explained, not only am I a casual gamer in the manner that I play, but my playtime is very erratic. I get little pockets of time. Somewhat frequently, but not in long duration. So it's hard for me to get invested in larger parts of games. And this is why I've always enjoyed the Guild Wars and the Guild Wars 2, is because I don't feel the need to play. I don't have subscription angst of feeling like I should play or need to play because I'm wasting my, my month game time or whatever. Which doesn't really happen to me with WoW, but it has at least once or twice, I think. At some point, I've kind of felt that way at some point. I don't think it's been a big deal, but it is a thing that I've thought of before. That, at least with Guild Wars, I get busy and do stuff and I don't gain for a while. Well, it's still just, I can just go back and just relog in. I don't need to, pay them again just to get access to it. So it is an interesting thing. And because I haven't stuck with it, I'm going to be enjoying my Blizzard subscriptions for now and playing around with some of their stuff for now. But then I'm going to switch gears again later and enjoy some of this arena that this Guild Wars Reforged is going to be applied to everybody that has Guild Wars Trilogy on December 3rd, I think, something like that. So, pretty cool. Anyways, just thoughts I had. If something is working good, let it be good for a long time. Don't mess with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And then if you want to do stuff to it to make it better, do it in a way that doesn't break what's good. That's really, I know that's a hard thing to do, but people just, sometimes they're like, we need more. We got to innovate radically, to such a degree that they totally just destroyed the original thing that everybody loves so much about whatever the thing was. So, we'll see. I think a light touch on Guild Wars Reforged makes sense to start with. They could do heavy touches as time goes on, as people play more. If you log in right now, there's a bunch of people running around. Even in the pre-searing zone, the beginning portion for new characters and prophecy. There's people running around warming up their accounts again, just waiting for it to drop. So, you know, that to me, that's a great time for reading that. I think that Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 is going to benefit a lot from New World going down the trash heap. All right. Thank you all. That was just some random entertainment thoughts related to gaming, as well as a little tune about the Bulldozer. You know, reading that's like a bulldozer, man. They just keep trucking. They just keep trucking along, man. They're just moving that dirt. And the dirt don't hurt. All right, Dad. Old mole signing.